people on antidepressants that can't get off of them, and I brought up Theo. And I brought up this instance where Theo he did a show for Netflix, and it apparently didn't go well. And afterwards, he said something to someone in the audience where he said, I'm just trying to not take my own life or not end my own life. I forget exactly how he said it. And I brought that up. I certainly shouldn't have brought that up in that context. And I probably shouldn't have brought it up, period. But I just sort of wanted to kind of explain why I have this thing with Theo where I just want him to be okay. And, you know, we did a podcast a while back where we were talking about, he started talking about Israel, and I was like, I think you're just losing your mind. And a lot of people are like, you're covering for Israel. And it wasn't what I was trying to do. And it is my fault. It's clunky, and I was just trying to talk him off the ledge because I had seen this video, and you'd seen that video too.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
What did you think when you saw that video?
I mean, I didn't know there's other context. Yeah,
this is the other
crazy,
context.
You know?
We should say the other context. So there was a woman that was in the crowd, apparently. Now, by the way, I have talked to Theo. I apologized to Theo. And Theo and I, we started laughing 5 minutes into the conversation. We had a long talk. But one of the things that he told me was that video, this woman had said to him that she wanted him to make a video for suicide awareness. And so he said, look, I'm just trying to not end my own life. That's a very Theo thing to say. Yeah. When you take it in that context, it's not as scary. But when you see it by itself, you're like, oh, Jesus. Like, what did you think when you saw that video for the first time?
I just saw a random video on Twitter one day. It was just like, look at Theo leaving stage, and like, why would he have even said that?
Right.
That's pretty much what I saw, and I was like, I knew nothing else about it.
I got scared. I got scared, first of all, because I love Theo, and second of all, because I've known multiple people that have taken their own life that I was close to that I didn't know they were going to do it until they did it. And when they did it, you feel so fucked and so helpless. You don't know what you could have said or done differently. Since the podcast where I told him, he started talking about Israel and people were saying I was covering for Israel. There's people that even say my wife is Jewish. She's not. I don't know why people are saying that, but I get how if you are conspiratorially minded, you would think that that's what I was doing. But if you've listened to the show, you wouldn't think that that's how I've had so many episodes where we criticize Israel. So many so that I brought in Dave Smith to argue with Douglas Murray because I didn't want Douglas Murray to be able to say these things that were promoting this war in Gaza without someone who's very educated who understands what's going on, which is Dave, and very good at arguing. Have you ever been? But anyway, from that perspective, from that podcast on, Theo has gotten off the meds. He titrated off. He weaned himself off. He's doing yoga every day or running every day. He's doing something. He's much happier and much healthier. So it's for him to see that I think that he's suicidal. Like, fuck. That's my failing. That's my failing as a friend. That's my failing as a person. And it's also me talking to Marcus, almost sort of selfishly, ham-handedly try to explain why I talk to him the way I talk to him on that podcast. And, you know, these are kind of subjects that sometimes, like, you almost need like a podcast to sort of break down why you were thinking about certain things. But so then it comes out, like Theo has to defend it, and then I called him up and I said, "Dude, I'm so sorry. I didn't even think of that, and that's very selfish of me. I didn't think that you would have to respond. I didn't even think of it. I just wanted to explain it when Marcus was talking about it. I apologized to Theo. He knows I love him, and he said that, and we laughed and we joked around about it, and I apologized for the way I talked about this. But I felt like I need to explain to other people too, to get just like what was going on in my mind out. And it certainly wasn't like covering for Israel, and it certainly wasn't like trying to paint him out like he's damaged or treat him like a child. I just want him to be okay. And when you're dealing with someone, or when you have like had experience dealing with someone where it winds up going very badly, and then you're just left with this feeling like, what could I have done? I didn't do a good job of it. Especially like the Marcus King thing. Like, that's terrible what I did. I didn't mean to. I was just trying to. You don't think sometimes when you're in the middle of a podcast, you're just having a conversation. You don't think about the impact that it's going to have. That's one of the reasons why, podcasts are so weird, because like you're in the middle of trying to be entertaining, but you're also just having a conversation. And I fucked up. So because I felt so badly about it, I was like, there's got to be a way to address this where I just express myself. And so that's why. We've never done this before. No. We've never done this kind of a thing after a podcast. But Theo's very important to me. She's an awesome person, a great friend, and one of the most interesting and funny people I've ever met in my life. And I just felt terrible about it. And I told them I would never bring it up publicly again. But I think it is important to let people know that aspect of it. So I'm going to call him and clear this with him and make sure he's cool with me saying this, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be. And that's it. So I'm a human, and I'm flawed like all of us, and I fuck up, and it's probably not the last time. It's definitely not. I'm going to fuck up again. But my intention is never to hurt anybody, ever. And that's why I very rarely, if ever, even get upset at anyone other than like corrupt politicians. But I do my best to just try to be a good person, spread positivity. And
Jesus, Joe, you love Theo so much. Why don't you marry him? So Joe Rogan, after his podcast ended and his guest left, decided to do a whole long apology to Theo Von. Then he get into the Israel thing and addressed everyone who said he only attacked Theo because Theo disagreed with him politically. So he called Theo. They had a long conversation about it. And then he called Theo again and asked if he could put this up, in which he did. So, I've never seen Joe Rogan do a complete response like this after the podcast. So he must have gotten a lot of backlash, and that forced him to have to apologize. So I wonder if Theo's going to say anything, because they had that conversation, but Theo did clap immediately back on Twitter and on Facebook with two different messages. So, although Joe was kind of still holding his guns there, Theo doesn't really talk that much and stuff. So, if you don't know, Theo Von bombed on his Netflix special and then said what he said, and that's what Joe was going off of. Even though Joe had already had Theo on after that, he had Theo on a little over a month ago. So, but the backlash was enough that Joe Rogan apologized to Theo Von. So, and I wonder if everyone's going to be happy now. I highly, highly doubt it. But, I don't know. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Oh, by the way, this one was kind of weird, only because the guest had left. But Joe went on for I couldn't put the whole thing. He went on for over 20 minutes and went through everything. And wow, Douglas Murray and Dave Smith. And it was an entire thing. So go check out the whole thing on his podcast. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.